Hey, how's it going? All right, GCQ. We're now live on Sundays at 4. So it's going to take a minute for people to get used to that. We changed it from Saturdays to Sundays. Just seems to be a little easier for us to do it Sunday afternoons than midday on a Saturday. And so this week has been pretty usual. Things are still kind of waking up. Flowers are still out there. But what I'm worried about is the week to come, right? And so we got about a half an inch of rain now. It's been kind of a dry spring for springs. Not super dry, but kind of dry. We've had some dry times. I did see some drought stress in people's lawns on Thursday already. So I was kind of glad to see a little bit of rain on Friday, but it just doesn't seem like we've got like a significant amount of rain to really saturate things down. So we just got a half an inch today so far. I don't know if we're going to get more. But the forecast for this week is going to be interesting, at least for turf, right? So it's going to be a little cool and rainy till about Tuesday. There's on and off rains. Let's hope we get enough to kind of sustain for a while. And then it looks like it's going to really start turning on this coming weekend where it's going to stay warm. I don't see any rain in the forecast. We're going to start hitting the 80s. And so it's going to feel great for us. Now we're going to be summertime conditions, but boy, definitely get your irrigation system ready. We need to make sure that we are ready to water because it's going to happen probably early part a week from now. At least that's what the forecast says. Hopefully they're wrong and there's going to be some rains popping in there. That'd be great. Then we don't have to worry about trying to water so much. But us non-irrigated lawns, we like it when the rain takes care of it for us. So that's kind of nice. A couple things I've seen lately. I've had a couple questions on some weeds. Mainly chickweed has been a big question. It's been real bad this year. It's a real light colored kind of sprawling out weed. There's a couple different varieties of it. Some yards look like they've been completely taken over by it. And I've had a lot of people calling and worrying about neighbors because their yard's so bad in it and they don't have any in theirs, but they're like, is it going to take over my lawn too? Well, chickweed is a winter annual, and so it's not going to take over. It looks ominous when it's all full of seed and doing things like that, but it's actually going to die here pretty soon. And so that'll be good. And we're starting to see our Poa annua really go to seed. And it's been going to seed for quite a while, but now it's like full blown seed heading. And so the Poa annua spots in our lawn are real bright, light colored yellow, and they're real fuzzy. Matter of fact, I took a picture of some of it in my yard. And everybody asked me, how do you get rid of it? Let's see if we can see it. Let me turn down the brightness a little bit further. See if maybe that'll help. Let's see here. Oh. Let's see if it gets it on enough where we can see it. Well, it's kind of hard to still see there, but it will look lighter colored, and it's real frizzy looking. And so, if you have a question about if I have Poa annua, you can send me a picture. I don't really do much with Poa annua unless it's really bad and I need to kind of start over, or if it's taken over the lawn. But in some cases, especially in the shade, it's the only turf that you have in there. And so don't get too upset about what it looks like and how bad it is. It can be considered a weed, I suppose, but sometimes some grass is better than no grass. So it's up to you. Most of the time you're going to have to kill it with Roundup or dig it out, pull it out, and reseed it. But you don't want to do that right now when it's all ugly and you can see it really easily. Just let it ride. Remember those areas because it kind of disappears through the season a little bit as far as its look. And then seed some good turf in there come September, right? So late summer is the best time to seed. And so that's when you're going to go ahead and seed those zones if you're trying to combat some Poa annua or annual bluegrass. But it's a grass that kind of comes and goes. It likes wet areas. If you water a lot, you're gonna have more of it. So trying to keep those deep and infrequent watering patterns as long as you possibly can, and you can maybe fend it off to a certain degree. You can also use preventers in the fall, and that will help you with both things, right? With chickweed and Poa annua. If you're also doing another what we call crabgrass preventer, right? But it's not crabgrass. It's actually a weed preventer, a seed preventer. If you go ahead and put that same application you put down to prevent your crabgrasses and your other summer annual weeds, and you do it in September, now you're going to stop all of those poa annuas and chickweeds and shepherd's purse and all these winter annuals that everybody's like, whoa, there's a lot of weeds this spring. You'll slow those down or even completely get rid of them in a lot of cases. So there's things you can do to stop it. Now, one thing you got to think about if you're going to do this method, right, is that you can't put down your regular grass seed. So if you're going to seed some areas in the fall or late summer, then you can't do that preventer. You'll end up having no seed come up, right? You'll have no grass come out of that seed. So then all of a sudden you don't have anything growing and you're like, why did this not work? I got sold some bunk seed. Well, not really. It's because you put down a preventer that prevents all seeds. And that's the same thing now. If you got somebody applying a preventer, and hopefully almost everybody's got your preventer down. I don't have mine down yet. I'm not nervous about it either. I'm probably going to do it sometime this week. Hopefully I'll probably have to end up watering it in by hose because it looks like there's going to be a dry spell. And by the time I get to it, it'll probably be warm. So, but I'm going to apply it and water it in. But yeah, it's once I do that, I can't do any seeding. So, it's going to be that kind of a season. And matter of fact, this time of year right now is not the best time to do any seeding. So if you're looking to repair any areas, the best repair situation would be sod, which is an already mature turf, right? And so we're kind of what I call in the sod phase. So if you have some dirt or mud or areas you need to get some turf into, sod is your ticket, right? Hey, how's it going, Colette? Yeah, so sod is the ticket, and sod is not expensive, and there's great places to get it. We got a couple of sod farms around us, and over in the Middlebury area. You're probably going to go up north into Michigan into Constantine. They got Constantine Turf Farm there. That's okay. I know they got bluegrass sod. I don't know if they have any other kinds. Maybe they do nowadays. It's been a long time since I've got turf from there. Back when I was on the golf courses, I got some there, but it's been a while since I've gotten turf from Constantine Turf Farm. Red Hen Turf Farm, there's Purdue graduates there. They do really good, and they've been around for a long time. I've got a lot of sod from them when I was working at Jude Creek and things like that. They have bluegrass sod, and now they also have turf type tall fescue sod. And so that's amazing. Actually, I love the fact that they got turf type tall fescue. Hey, John, how's it going? And so it shows in this here that, let's see here. That's turf type tall fescue. If you're buying an individual roll of it, which is actually 10 square feet, pretty decent size, it's going to be $7.70. You got to drive there to get it. The bluegrass is a little bit cheaper. That's $7.40. And if you have a larger area that you need to do, 500 square feet or more, they can give you a pallet's worth, or you can share it with a neighbor. And that ends up being, for the turf type tall fescue, only $6 per square foot. And the turf type, or $6 for a roll. Sorry about that. And $5.70 for the bluegrass for a roll. So if you got some areas you need to sod, and talk with your neighbor or something if it's, and get it a little bit cheaper if you can. But sod's a great way to do it. When you do get sod or you need to get sod for some reason, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that when you put that sod down, really saturate it. Make sure that when you water that new sod, that you're lifting it up and making sure that water goes all the way through and it's all wet all the way through. That's the thing to do. It only takes like 3 days for sod to start to throw roots down. So you don't have to do that for very long. Do it once or twice a day. And especially if it's cooler out, you don't have to do it as often, but you always want to keep an eye on it. Sod can go dry pretty quick because if you cut off all those roots when you harvested it to try to take it to your house. But yeah, it's a great little idea for things like right off of the porch where, the dog maybe messed up a spot. So you can cut that out, make a nice little square, and then replace brand new sod in there and try to get the dog not to be there again or die again. So yeah, sod's a good idea if you got damaged areas this year. And so the two things that really stink that's coming on this week is ants. I have them all over my backyard. I just did a video yesterday on how to calibrate our new ant bait, which is awesome. By the way, this ant bait is fantastic. They come in small little 1 pound containers. That little 1 pound container can cover 1,000 square feet. So you can like sprinkle it in all kinds of cracks in your driveway and around the house and all that stuff. It goes pretty far. And then we have it in a 10 pound bag that you can spread it throughout the lawn. And the 10 pound bag does 10,000 square feet. And it works really good. So really excited about those new bait products. We've really struggled with ants because they're tough to kill. They just have a good defense thing. They keep that queen protected. And so the baits really eliminate that situation. So that's good.
It was really neat when we spread it the other day, watching them grab the bait.
Yeah, that's right. We did spread some the other day, and you could watch all the ants. They were coming out to, swarm because it's the springtime. So you see a bunch of ants crawling all over. Well, we sprinkled some of the bait down. Next thing you know, you're seeing all the bait moving around on the ground, and you can tell they're all grabbing it. So
it was pretty cool.
That's a good thing. That's good.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Another thing that's going on doesn't make me happy, although it's a good thing. It means you got healthy turf. But when I mowed on Friday, I noticed that even my regular bluegrass is going to seed now. And so there's seed stems. Grass is looking real strange. It's kind of growing out, and it doesn't even look like grass, right, at some places and stuff. So it's not cutting well because it's going to seed already. And so make sure that when you're mowing your lawn, that you're keeping those blades at high speed, right? So if you start hitting some thicker turf and you hear the engine slow down or anything slow down, you want to slow down your pace until that mower blade gets full speed again. And you want to keep it at full speed. So you're going to have to, go through and mow it slower if it gets thicker. And with stems, it gets a little harder to cut. So you're more likely to have that situation. Try to cut it more frequently, sharpen them blades up real nice. It's just going to be an ugly period of time. And then it's also going to waste a lot of energy out of our turf. And we just put down some fertilizer with preventer in it. It's going to look good for a little bit, and it's going to run through it pretty quick. So just keep your eyes open on that and be ready for your next application.
It just seems because the grass looks so pretty.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, bleh.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So get ready for some dryness coming up in the future. Make sure you get your irrigations going ready. It's going to be in the 80s come next weekend. And so be prepared for that warmer weather and make sure your irrigation is going. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Another thing is we did get an alert for crabgrass germination. So now, if you hadn't put it down, there could be some crabgrass starting to germinate in your lawn. Nice thing about our fertilizer we're putting down. So remember this, if you're one of our clients that's using ours, it's got early post-emergent control. So that means that if it's starting to germinate, it's going to be very, very young. We still have like 2 to 3 weeks to get ours down. I wouldn't suggest waiting that long, but try to get it down in the next week or so. Then you'll have still really good control, 90+% easy. And then there's also another alert we got by the GDD was BTA egg lay. And what that is black turfgrass Atenius. It's one of the smallest beetles that creates grubs that are eating turf roots, right? And they come by the thousands. Barely anybody ever sees these guys. I've seen them on the golf course a few times. And I've seen them in people's lawns a few times, but they're super rare. The beetle itself is so small. He's about the size of a pen tip. And so it's really hard to see these guys. Their grubs are actually bigger than that. You can see them in the ground, but they're real small. And so they look strange. Like, is this a baby grub? Well, no. And they have actually 2 life cycles through a season. So that's why we're already hearing that they're laying eggs now and they'll lay eggs later. And then that'll be different. Now, the other beetles that we deal with the most common grubs that we're used to seeing that become lunch for moles and all these other guys are the mass chafers.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, mass chafers and the Japanese beetles, June beetles. And we'll start to see those fly around in June. That's when they start to hatch and fly around. And then they'll do their mating and they'll lay their eggs at the end of June, beginning of July. So, That's great. Do you have any questions on there?
Peter really he said, great advice on the new spreader.
Yeah, that new spreader is nice. I love that spreader. I'm using it on everything. It's just so easy to operate.
What's it called again?
It's called the Littlefoot, and it's called the Prize Lawn, not Lawn Prize. I said that about 1,000 times on the video. Kept calling it. I was looking at it upside down, right? Lawn Prize, right? So yeah, no, it was just.
I have to give him a hard time, guys.
Brain fart there too. You get a little older, you start slowing down on that, remembering things. Yeah. But that's a great spreader.
Yeah.
Go on to GCQ if you guys are listening to this, or not GCQ, Earthway, and you can see that spreader on there and other spreaders as well. But I'm really loving these new ones. They're really good at use, and the T-handle, just super easy. You'll see it in that video. Check out that video, and make sure you're telling people about our lives on Sunday afternoons, because we're trying to move everybody over here, and it looks like we're maintaining about 8 people, and that's great. And we get about 100 or so people that watch this later, which is great as well. But yeah, feel free to ask questions, throw questions in. Even if you're watching this video later, feel free to add a little question in there, and I can answer it through the week about things and stuff like that. And then, we're going to help you through this period of time where we're going to go to seed. That's the worst time in my mind, but it's replenishing, right? Adding seeds into the soil from your good grasses, even so your Kentucky bluegrasses and your perennial ryegrasses, they all go to seed as well. Turf type tall fescue doesn't typically go to seed, not at the heights that we mow it, but these guys, they're replenishing themselves and they're adding good seed in the soil. So that's a good thing.
Just takes forever for the ugly stems.
Yeah. But what we're going to try to do this year for those stems is we're going to try to use that thatch buster and try to get those stems to go away faster. And we'll kind of see, I'm going to do my yard might look a little strange in the beginning or in the front yard, because I'm going to do half of my yard of doing experiments and things like that to see if we can discern differences and stuff. So yeah, that'll be fun. We'll do that. We'll do videos on that. We're going to get more videos up. I'm excited about this year. Thanks for listening. Is there anybody else who has any questions? No questions? I get the questions during the week and I bring them up on this. So that's pretty much what happens. Mm-hmm. Great. All right.
Well, have a great Sunday, everybody.
Yeah. Have a good Sunday, and we'll see you next Sunday. Thanks for coming on, and I appreciate you listening. Have a great day.